Welcome to the Cunning Plan podcast. Today we're here with Molly and Ali, staunch users of Instagram stories and Snapchat stories, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Everyone's heard a lot about these. I've heard a lot about them. If I'm really honest, I haven't really used them at all. I use Instagram. I have dabbled occasionally in Snapchat, but I've never used it, and I've certainly never used any of the story features or anything like that. So we thought it would be a good idea to kind of explain a little about what they are, how they all work, how you can use them, and then potentially how brands can use them and which one's best, and you two can kind of fight it out as to which one's the winner for today. So to start off with, let's talk about Instagram stories, shall we?
Mm-hmm. So Instagram stories came in about a couple of months ago now. It's basically so brands or users can use it, and it's just like a snapshot of whatever they're doing in the day or a product, but it disappears after 24 hours. So instead of disrupting like the visual niceness of your actual page, where everyone gets like one good shot, you can kind of just do a snapshot, and it's not that like high end or anything, and then it disappears after 24 hours.
So it solves that problem. I get a bit annoyed when my feed fills up with pictures of people's kids, or like boring rubbish photographs or something like that, or like 3 or 4 photos in one day out.
Yeah.
This is taking that content and shifting it somewhere else.
Yeah. So you can do as many stories as you want in one day, and then just after the 24 hours, just goes and disappears forever.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how does that differ from Snapchat?
Well, Snapchat's definitely been around for a lot longer. It's been around for a good couple of years, and it's probably where Instagram got their inspiration from. Obviously, Instagram's a lot more like of a social media platform, as in like you have profiles and everything, whereas Snapchat's more of like a messaging social media platform.
Okay.
And so their only feature is the stories and also Snapchatting each other. So very similar to Instagram with the stories, but on Snapchat their stories, because they've had it around a lot longer, they've got like a lot more features you can do with it, which we'll talk about in a wee bit, the features. But yeah, so they are both very similar when it comes to it, and they're both 10 seconds long. The actual story can be for like a picture. Actually, is Instagram 10 seconds?
15 seconds.
Is it? Whereas Snapchat is 10-second blocks.
Okay, so individual, so you can have as many blocks as you want, but each one is 10 seconds long.
Mm-hmm.
So like usually you find if you're doing like a video that runs like say 40 seconds, and it'll just be 4 10-second blocks.
Okay.
They'll just link together.
And so Snapchat is, so whilst with Instagram you're communicating to the world at large, basically it's publicly available to anybody.
It's searchable, like anyone can
anyone can find it. So if you follow someone, you can see their story, basically. Is that the same with Snapchat?
On Snapchat you need to have the username.
Okay.
Again, I'll talk about it maybe with the features, but there's a whole thing you can do based on location now as well, where you can find different users. But primarily it's all about your username. You need to type it into the search bar at the top, and then you'll basically be able to find yourself. But that's where you find where a lot of you get a lot of followers on Snapchat through Facebook and Instagram, because you promote your Snapchat username on that. So then that's when you start following. So
on Snapchat stories, do you have to follow that person to be able to see the story?
Yes.
Yeah. Because on Instagram you don't need to follow them.
Yeah. Other than if there's a whole news section on Snapchat stories, and that's where you have like your Sky News, your Daily Mail, all that stuff. So you can follow their stories because they're all public ones.
Yeah.
But to actually view stories that you want to view, whether it's celebrities or not, it needs to be someone that you follow.
Okay, and you can can you approve that as well? So you could have a story that's not public.
Yeah. So you can either have it public, private, or basically public or private.
Okay.
Do the same on Instagram.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can also find through contacts. So if you have a contact on your phone, then it'll link Snapchat with that. So if like their numbers on Snapchat, they'll pop up saying this is your pal, and Facebook as well. It links with their Facebook friends.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Super. Okay, so let's go through the kind of the features of each one, shall we?
Yeah.
So that's back to Instagram.
Okay. Well, on Instagram, it's actually just got a load of new features as well. So I think they're really trying to develop into stories. So.
Just recording.
There we go.
So we're going to show this up. Well, hopefully you'll see some additional footage on the screen, because we thought it'd be useful just to kind of show exactly how you go about doing a story right from the very start. For people that haven't, maybe haven't used it before, or have used Instagram but haven't used the story feature, then we kind of show you exactly how you go about doing that.
So when you first get onto your Instagram feed, if you click in the top left, you've got the camera button, and then that brings you straight up onto your screen of where you can produce your stories. So you've got your normal feature, so take a picture of James, and then from there you can add to it. So you've got your sticker icon here, so we can put the location, which type in Altrincham, put that up there, and then once you put in your location, that can be clickable. So once your story's up, anyone who watches that story can click the location key, and it'll take you through to the actual explore page, so other pictures and stories that are going on in Altrincham at that time. So it also helps you to get out there more as well. And then you can put text on, so Cunning Fan podcast, and then we can also add like hashtags, polls. The polls are quite good, so do we like the Cunning Plan podcast?
Yes, I mean that's a yes. That's
Obviously
it's
a
a
yes.
no-brainer, one hopes.
And then you can vote. So that's quite a good one for engaging with your audience as well.
Cool.
And then we've also got Boomerang, which is it's like short bursts of pictures and going backwards and forwards.
So you just added that, and that's when you did that. That's just gone on as the first sort of slide of your story.
Yeah, so you just click the little
keep
plus. Yeah.
Can you go back and change the order of them, or is that just it? Like
No, you
once
don't
it's
change
up,
the order.
once it's up, that's up.
Chronological. Because then it's like that one will go off first, because then it's like 24 hours before the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be kind of
Yeah.
like that. So it's one of those. It is pretty instant, and you can't kind of go back and change it.
Once you've hit plus, you can delete it, but you can't edit it.
You can't edit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same again for Boomerang. So.
Boomerangs. Let's do one of Ali. I think people want to see a close up of Ali making a funny face.
That's an awful
There we go.
That's fabulous. That is.
So we can add that to our story there.
Oh god, that's up.
That's actually really. This is all happening. It's really happening. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, uploading, posting, and.
So it's super quick for like. So obviously we're going to get on a bit more later on to talk about brands and how brands can use it, but this is all about doing stuff quickly. Like you can jump on that, you can grab it. Don't prevaricate about it too much. We talk about this all the time about stop trying to be perfect and make everything super fully produced. You can accept that when you look at brands' stories, they're a bit rubbish, a lot of them. They don't, but they don't. It doesn't matter because it's about getting out there and
just
talking
like
about
behind
something.
the scenes, kind of letting your audience think that they're there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. But then again, if you do want something that's more polished, then you can upload that yourself. So you can go and edit a video, put it onto your phone, and then you'd click the camera button, and if you click the albums here, you'd be able to pick what you'd want.
So you could grab a piece of video footage and
or
put that in.
a photo that we've already done before, and we could put that up.
Right, okay. So that would be like if you've got a special promotion starting on a certain day or a key event, key thing of the year, you could prep a story, get all the video footage ready, and then just upload that as if it was happening live, and away you go.
That's quite a new feature as well, because it used to be instant, didn't it?
Yeah.
But that's coming quite soon.
So what have we got? We've got the boomerangs, which is the sort of back and forth footage.
The super zoom. This is a new one that came out on Halloween.
Yeah, I saw this.
This is to like create suspense. So it'll do 3 zooms, and then when it's played back on each zoom, it's meant to have music. Okay, moving on then. But yeah, on each zoom, it's meant to have.
You'll have seen. What would have really happened is on the screen, you would have seen that work. I've seen a few of those, and they can be. That's really cool. When people do that, like change their expression during the zoom and do bits and pieces like that. It looks
And then each
super
note
cool.
gets like more intense apparently on the music.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. My phone is there we go. There's also stop motion as well, which is a brand new one. This is only being tested at the moment, so only certain people have it at the moment. I'm one of the lucky ones.
Fancy.
Yeah.
I bet I don't have it. Let me see what I bet I
Yeah,
have it.
so
I don't
you
think I've
have
even
it.
got Instagram. I don't think I've even got boomerangs.
If you So the stop
no,
motion.
Super zoom. Stop
can
motion.
take
Special
a few different
too.
pictures.
Got it.
Oh, you do
That
this
is
as well.
amazing.
And then
Show you. I'm happy to show you.
and how did it done? Oh God.
Sorry, we're just
My face.
we're just having fun here. We're not really getting
I'm
anything
doing
done.
the stop motion
So
at
the
the
super
moment.
zoom's awesome. That is very cool. Yeah, I like that.
We're just waiting.
So stop motion, that's where if you're doing something where you want to create like a little animation or you want to make
Yeah.
it look kind of here's a series of photographs or something like that, that's again another, all just different ways of making a more engaging sort of set of content that again doesn't need to be super polished, but people like the
Just make it
realness and the kind of
interesting. More,
And you
it
can
adds more
add to that.
personality to a brand or a person, doesn't it?
yeah.
You can see why it's still being tested out at the moment because
Bits
it's not
don't-
actually
Don't
working.
work sometimes, but yeah, we'll do. I imagine what we'll do is we'll probably do a bit of a guide to using some of those things and put that on the blog as well.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more. We'll go into a bit more detail there that we haven't gone through today.
Yeah, and then we've just got Rewind as well, which is plays videos in reverse.
Okay. Just
I
like
think
some,
my Instagram is messing up a little bit, so I'll just come back to that. And then the other feature that you've got as well is hands-free, which is a good one because usually you have to press the button down and hold it for the duration, whereas with the hands-free you can just
so you
click it
can
once.
start it off and then put it to one side.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Nice.
So I think that's all
Have you got
the
filters or
features.
anything like that on
Yes.
Instagram? Do you get any of those like fun seeing people with funny cat faces
Yeah.
and things like that? Is that something you can
So
do?
like
on-
they have on Snapchat, they've got the same here, so you can see, for instance.
Why am I always the subject of
'Cause
this?
you-
Surely Ali is
So
like
now
more.
you've got some cool glasses on your
That's cool. No, I am cool. So
We can make you into a cat.
I
Gary into a
don't
cat.
want to be made into a cat.
Is it working?
Anyway,
It's-
you can.
yeah.
You can do all these things. So we'll show, like, we'll go through all the different
Yeah.
filters and so there's loads of cool stuff you can do with the filters.
Mhm.
Are there like in terms of the number of filters, like
There's loads. There's probably more on Snapchat though, to be
Yeah.
fair, because they've been going longer
Okay.
and they're quite a new thing on Instagram.
can you get like can you make filters for Instagram? Can you submit filters for it like you can? Because I know you can
You
Yeah.
can,
you can submit them to Snapchat. You can make your own filters, can't you?
yeah, that's not a feature on Instagram yet.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
sure it probably will be at some time
So
soon.
that's one extra point for you. Remember that for later, Ali, in the roundup. Cool. Okay. Excellent. Let's talk about Snapchat then. This is one
Cool.
I literally know nothing about Snapchat.
Right.
So
Just flick that one.
apart from the fact that it's got a little ghost.
Okay, so on Snapchat it's pretty similar to Instagram with this. So this is your stories page. So when you go into Instagram, Snapchat, it's straight like this. But this is all the Instagram. Why do I keep saying Instagram? Snapchat stories. So these are all the stories that like your friends or whoever you follow. And then this is basically like everyone that has uploaded in the past 24 hours. And here, this is all like the kind of news, so the featured channel, so you've got The Sun, it's all very newsworthy with that, and it tailors it to what you're interested in as well.
So these people are paying presumably to be.
Yeah, so
Up the top
with
here.
like Sky Sports and Daily Mail, they'll have paid to get into the featured
Yep.
section and
Okay.
what you can do. And one of the good things about Snapchat as well is you've got like our stories, so it's like actual featured stories. So with this, it's like the Day of the Dead, so it's all about like kind of. So you can click on that and it'll show you just different things from around the world of this particular theme.
Yeah.
So they do that a lot. Like every day, like you found on Halloween, they had a whole big Halloween section, and it was just all different things of what people were doing. And likewise, if there's any like latest news or anything that's like featured with like e-news or whatever. So when you go into basically, if you go into the stories section, so like you take a picture and you've got all the different filters that you can possibly want on it, and like with the filters that were mentioned on Instagram, on Snapchat there is a lot more filters, and they get uploaded like basically gets updated like pretty much every week, more or less, like with new Snapchat filters. And also what you can do is, a lot of brands do it with like Adidas, and whatever brand wants to can like upload a filter, or there's also ones like I think they're actual like stamps. So like right now sponsored Common Ground, they've sponsored for that kind of sticker. And it's all based on your location as well.
Okay.
So there should be one for
Common Ground near here.
Altrincham. Must be, it's
so it'll be like they've paid for.
So that's, and it's obviously time specific as well. So there's one there that said like 3 hours to the weekend, all this kind of stuff.
Exactly, so they have all these different things. And then another thing that Snapchat has as well, it's linked up with an app called Bitmoji. And that's basically where you can, if you go into your stickers, you've got all your like emojis, but then you've got your Bitmojis, which is like your person, so you create like a wee cartoon character, and you have all these different things. So like that's very like prominent for me.
I can imagine.
So there's a whole bunch of different things with the Bitmojis is taken off really well on Snapchat. It's something that's like been very effective. So if you just type in like say Friday, then it'll come up with a whole bunch of things. So you've got like Happy Friday, and you can have that on your story type thing.
Very,
if you wanted to.
Apropos.
Exactly. And then obviously they've got, I'll do it on you, the actual filters. So, and then they'll basically just load up, all the filters will load up, so you can have like that one.
Well, am I at the moment?
So
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good look.
So it's just stuff like that.
I like that.
Another good thing as well, what Snapchat can do is that you can put filter on top of another filter, so you can scroll along to like say whatever filter you think's nice, and then you hold it down and you can bring up another filter as well, so you can do different ones. And again, there's another sponsored one there. So it's just basically stuff like that you can do, and it just makes it more interesting, I guess, and makes your stories a bit more entertaining.
So that was all based on a photograph though. Can you do video and boomerang?
You can't do boomerang or anything. It's a lot more simple. It's just photos and videos.
You can do. So you can shoot a sort of 10-second bit of video and then put
so you can literally just hold it down, and then you can do a video, and then you can hold it down, you can do all your stamps on it that you want again. So it's basically just what you can do with each of them.
So it's really for Snapchat, it's all about the sort of being creative with the filters and being creative with a piece of footage. Whereas if you've got, on Instagram and more, you've got those kind of sort of more clever little features like the zoom and rewind.
There's a lot more features on Instagram for that.
But I don't have anywhere near the number of those, like all those different filters, and the location specific stuff's really clever, isn't it? That's
and then sponsored stuff, that's great.
Likewise, what you can do is you can go into, they have stuff called memories, so it's basically just all your memories that you have on that. So probably don't want to go any further because it's not going to nice out.
It's not suitable for public consumption.
And then you can save like your stories as well, that when you have stories and all that, they'll come up here.
So you can save someone else's story.
You can't save someone else's story.
You can save your own story though. Can you do that on Instagram?
We can't save someone else's story.
Can you save your own story on Instagram?
Oh yeah, you can.
So that will stay. So although you do it and it goes after 24 hours,
you can save
You can keep your stuff, so you get to see those things you did over time. That's cool. I didn't
and you can
realise that.
save each individual image as well if you didn't want the whole story.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there was one like quite controversial thing with Snapchat about actual like geotagging.
This is the actual location thing. I saw a lot of stuff about this.
So
this is pretty bad.
What you do is you just go like that, and then you basically see where you are, and you can see like whoever's online, you can see where they are. So one of my pals is exactly where he is, and you can see whereabouts they are. So it's like caused a lot of controversy, because on the update of Snapchat that introduced this, everyone was opted into it. And you had to.
So you could basically see where everybody you know is right now.
Yeah.
Which is
a lot of people are now set as private. Like I'm now private because it's covered me up.
Right.
But the good thing about it is you can actually see what's going on in your area. So if you go into Manchester, all these little hot points.
There's lots of stuff going on.
So this is stories that you can see happening in Manchester just now. So that was in Piccadilly Station. and you can actually see certain things on it. Likewise, you can just do whatever really.
So it's one of those where it's kind of, it's controversial. Yes, they probably handled that in a bad way by just opting everyone into it. But if everyone had to opt into it themselves, would they have opted into it? Would it actually work? And so on. Obviously, it's.
And what you can do is, like, if I took a story around here and I tagged in, say, Altrincham or something, you could send that to, like, what would happen is Snapchat, like, cultivates all the stories, and they must filter through to see the best ones, and then you can be uploaded onto the area of, like, stuff that's going on if it's quite interesting. So that's definitely, it's a good filter, because, like, literally you can do this all over the world as well. You can see wherever, so you can go into France, you can do all that, and you can literally see absolutely everything what's happening in the world just now. So it's a good way of actually, like, seeing what else is out there, like, more like live terms. So that's definitely, like, it's a good feature now, and it was just less it was more controversial. Certain things.
Knowing where people they are.
A bit dodgy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in terms of so then if you compare that to, say, with Instagram, you can obviously you get your little list of stories at the top that's much smaller.
Yeah.
Is there a like an explore function in that to look at sort of more examples of stories and things?
So if you go to the explore function here, we've got Altrincham come up straight away because obviously we're here. So then say if I'd tagged us in Altrincham, this would come up in this story. Like, these are loads of different people's.
So it's all different people's public stories about one location.
Yeah. So it just puts you all into one location of story as well.
Okay.
So that's how you can widen your reach.
So it's just a bit more. Obviously, Snapchat actually looks a bit more polished. Looks more like a news feed, doesn't it? And I must admit, I'd always thought of Snapchat as being a little bit unpolished, shall we say. But actually the way they've done that, the news feed and everything, that's pretty slick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is different. Like, you've got the map and everything, whereas Instagram is like you just comes up with your local area, but then also you can search for places. So we could search in Manchester, and then it should come up with the location here. So then you can search it that way, what people have actually uploaded, but then also if you click on that, then it'll come up with all the people who are in Manchester who.
So this is again a mix of all sorts of different people.
Yeah.
Telling their story about. And there is a map there, but you can't. It just doesn't work that way around. You can't go through the map and look for people. You can't see where your friends are. Or things like that. Okay. Cool. Anything else on either of those? Any other features that stand out as being, better on one than the other, or anything like that?
Well, I would always say that I think with Snapchat's success, they definitely pride themselves on being, like, very simplistic on everything, and because they were, like, kind of the first ones to do that stuff, they have, like, polished a lot of things off with it, and so it is a lot simpler. And like with Instagram, it does have more users on it by far, and you can do a lot more. But I think because Snapchat has that kind of, like, exclusivity about it as well, and because a lot of brands have, like, worked with them to, like, either create, like, filters or anything like that, it just makes it more kind of it feels like its own little platform. And I guess, like, with, like, celebrities using it quite a lot, it's made it.
I think that sponsored filters thing feels like that's a bit of a game changer, because that kind of, we never, we go to events and they don't really talk about, it's always use the hashtag for tweeting or, put something up on Facebook or whatever else. But now you're seeing loads more. We've got a Snapchat filter for this. And it's like, do we really this week? And that seems to be a really good way, really good move of Snapchat's to do that, because everyone, marketing people, we just want to find a way to get our brand on everything. So that's perfect, because you can sponsor it, you get a filter up there for the night and use that, and more people are going to go, okay, well, I'll use Snapchat for that and not Instagram, because they've got something specific that I can use for this today.
I think they've got one up on Instagram with the filter. Yeah. But then Instagram, you've got a wider reach, I feel, because I feel like Snapchat's a bit more, like, inclusive, that you have to follow each other to be able to see the content, whereas Instagram is just publicly there.
Yeah, that's certainly the impression I get. That it's much more of a kind of Snapchat. I've got a little group of people, and if I'm and a brand can be part of that group, but it's very much like if I'm a brand, I can talk to you if you want to hear from me. Yeah. Whereas on Instagram, I can just talk as a brand, and hopefully people will hear. But I'm kind of it's I've got a better chance of probably getting out to more people. But anyway, let's talk. I think about why. For a brand, so if we're talking about marketing now and how we try and put our message out there in a different way and create that kind of instant, exciting piece of dynamic content, why is Instagram the best platform? If we've only got, we have only got a number of hours in a day, we're already sending out 17 tweets a day and updating Facebook and putting our Instagram general images up and doing all this other kind of stuff. So we can't possibly do both of these things all at once. So which one are we going to do? So why Instagram?
I think Instagram, what it can do, on your story, if you're verified, you can add a link. So you can link to your website or to a longer piece of content, whereas you can't do that on Snapchat. So that helps drive traffic then. And then also you can tag in other users. So say if you've collaborated with a model or someone else who's got a load of followers, then you can tag them in and then people can click on that, and it just kind of gives you a bit more exposure because it goes onto their feed as well. So I think that's why Instagram's probably better, because you get more exposure than, say, Snapchat.
Okay, and you've got more, and there are obviously more users on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Can you pre-prepare content for Snapchat?
You can upload, like, say, stuff from your camera and all that. It's more obvious that it is uploaded because there's always a white border around it. So, and sometimes it does say like uploaded from camera roll. So it's not like it's seamless in that sense with Instagram, that it basically could potentially just be a photo. Whereas in Snapchat, it's not. You can actually tell that it's like camera. So
again, sort of pro Instagram, I suppose, then is that you could, as marketeers, we like to do stuff in advance. So if we're prepping it, we can prep something that we know is going to happen on the day, produce the footage, put it up, get it ready to go. And then
no one will know anything.
No one will know that we weren't there doing it right away that that Saturday morning when we were all still asleep. Cool. Okay. So there's quite a lot going for Instagram there, Ali. A lot to beat.
But with Snapchat, like, I definitely think the whole geotagging thing's a bit of a game changer with Snapchat, because I think it is a very good way of actually seeing what else is like kind of out in the world. It's more for like events and seeing what's about, and likewise as a brand it means you can actually like hone in on certain people, and like you can actually, it's a lot more kind of personalised, I would say, and then when you do see a lot of like, I think what made Snapchat so popular was that, like, and especially with what a lot of brands do with it, is it feels more like exclusive, and you're getting like a kind of behind the scenes look of certain things, like especially with like celebrities, you can actually see like the polished photos on Instagram and all that, but you can see the kind of like backside. We'll just beep that out.
I'm sure that you can see some backsides on Snapchat. That's what I thought Snapchat was for. I thought that's what it was for, just for sharing backsides. But no, there's more, lots more. That's what we're learning today. Lots more to it than just that, but that's still clearly very much a part of it.
But the other good thing as well with Snapchat stories is what you can do is you can send photos, like if you can interact with someone through their story. So if someone's posted something, like a picture or something, you can respond to them with an image. Whereas on Snapchat you can only do, on Instagram you can only do it with text.
Yeah, I think it's just with text.
Whereas so you can comment on an Instagram, you can add comments to it, whatever it is, but you can't actually send another picture back. Yeah, you can send a picture, you can send a video, you can send anything like that. So I think that's where Snapchat kind of has that lead on it in like communication wise. Yeah. Because it is a more communication based platform. And actually quite a lot of people like that on Snapchat, when you're messaging, whether it be in someone's story or not, it disappears, whereas on Instagram it doesn't. Instagram, it's just a message log. Yeah. And a lot. So if I message to a story, even if the story disappears, that person will remain.
You still get the message log, but the story goes.
Right. Okay.
So it'll say like in your messages you reply to this story, or they reply to your story, and then you click on it, but the story's not there anymore after 24 hours. Okay. But you can still message each other though.
Yeah. And I think that's one. I think quite a lot of people quite like that it disappears a lot of the time. I know myself when I've done it, I quite like it when some stuff disappears, especially if you like it's like bitchy or something.
Nonsense. I don't believe you could ever say anything bitchy.
But yeah, so it does have like some definitely good points, and I think it's the simplicity of it is what attracts a lot of people to that platform.
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay. All right. So, if you're a brand, then which one are you going to use? Molly, which one are you going to use?
Instagram.
Right. Okay. So, if you're a brand, which one would you pick up?
With me, the difficulty with Snapchat is in order to get your brand out, like you would need something like Facebook, Twitter, or even Instagram for that. But I think what Snapchat has is that more like exclusivity towards it, and it makes people like learn more about the brand and they feel more part of it. Especially if it is like kind of like if it's any celebrities and their brands, like they've worked wonders on Snapchat with that.
So if you can get your audience together,
yeah,
maybe Instagram is where you start trying to just because you can just shout to everybody.
Yeah,
if you can build that.
It's more building a relationship with.
Then you'd say you have a better chance of a more reciprocal relationship.
Yeah.
On Snapchat.
And I think you can be a lot more topical on it as well with actual current events and what's happening with Snapchat.
Cool. Okay. So no decision there was made, unfortunately. But so examples, I guess, is a good thing to think about next, because it's kind of you get to this point, you think, okay, I'm going to go for Instagram or I'm going to try out Snapchat, but what are we going to do? So imagine I'm a brand, I've got a business or like us, we're going to try and get involved and do something on it. What should we be doing? Have we got any examples of people who are doing it well or interesting things we've tried?
We were having a look earlier, weren't we, at different brands that we looked at into Trafford Centre, and they were doing the whole Christmas light switch on, which happened yesterday.
Nice.
So they had like an orchestra up the stairs and Dave has some DJing, so they just had like a load of snaps, which looked really cool. Boohoo Man had a weird one. We were like had to look into it afterwards, but they've got this guy who's called like Tom Eats or something, and the whole Instagram is about this place in Reading, this burger place, and we were like, what's this got to do with Boohoo Man? Because it's obviously fashion. And then we looked into it, and they've collaborated with him because he's got like 132k followers,
right. And
he basically had one of the Boohoo Man tops on, but it wasn't like promoted really, was it? So that's like a funny way of going about it. Mercedes as well, they do all like the driving, behind the scenes, testing, that sort of thing. So there's so many different things you can do, like even like independent like hairdressers doing the cuts and the before and after pictures. There's literally anything.
Yeah, it's a lot of food, a lot of restaurants like showing. It seems like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like a lot of stuff giving you because it doesn't have to be that. On your website, you want that polished image that's been edited and looks absolutely crisp and perfect. Whereas, it just looks like it's people who are just. It's giving you a little glimpse behind the camera of how something's being done, how the sausage is made.
That makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say with Snapchat, like again, it's basically very, very similar. You can do a lot of stuff on it. I was reading as well, like the demographic for Snapchat is younger than what it is with Instagram, and I think it did say that on average we spend 40 minutes on Snapchat compared to 30 on Insta stories. So there you go, so statistics win.
Very good.
But yeah, I think with Snapchat you tend to find that a lot of celebrities and all that is how it's been pushed so much, and with them they tend to post a lot more on Snapchat with these things. So with their type of brands, they get pushed a lot more and it can access like a wide range of people. So like saying like with Kylie Jenner with her lip kits, that's what she does. She literally tries them all on, does makeup tutorials and all that on Snapchat, so it's like a kind of behind the scenes thing, and then she promotes the polished looks on Instagram and Facebook. So it's more again that kind of exclusivity of it, and makes a lot more people attracted to that. And pretty much very, very similar though, in terms of
it's like the fan clubs, isn't it, on Snapchat?
Yeah. Do you think people do pick one or the other, or do you think? I mean, it's interesting that you use Instagram. Personally, you use Instagram, you use Snapchat, and you don't kind of.
I do. I
use
use
Instagram
a lot as well.
Yeah.
I think the majority, but I can only speak for myself. But I think a lot of people do use both platforms. going on quite a lot of my friends and what they do tend to post a lot more on Snapchat, whether that be stories, but I have noticed now especially, and even with myself, like now I'm starting to post more on Instagram and have like those kind of levels. So I do think the way Instagram's going, if that continues going forward like that and kind of taking more from Snapchat, then potentially that would beat it hands down, because it has all like the kind of tools and resources to excel a lot further. So yeah, that I guess that's where like Snapchat needs to kind of try and reinvent itself a bit and put it up.
Yeah, the effort they're putting into those like different ways of recording the video, like that Zoom thing and the boomerangs and everything like that. It does add, from a creativity point of view, it's sort of easier to do interesting creative video, whereas I feel like I might get a bit of analysis paralysis with it. I could see myself taking a photo and then like spending forever trying to edit it and get the, put the right text on and get the right stamp, and then and that's kind of not the point. You kind of need to be able to do. I've seen you play ping pong doing one at the same time. I mean, that's how you do it. I mean, that's how you succeed at Snapchat. You've got to be able to play ping pong, have a drink in one hand, and a Snapchat. But somehow there's 3 hands here somewhere. But I don't know. It's a mystery to me. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, wasn't. I think we all knew going in it probably wasn't going to be a decisive winner. But I think to summarise, it feels very much like a brand can get out there on Instagram, and then Snapchat perhaps is for that more connected relationship, that sort of place where you can be even more one-to-one with your kind of your brand fans, if you will. So yeah, I guess just give it a try, see which one suits your brand the best. I suppose is kind of the way to approach it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll have a separate blog which kind of break down in a bit more detail how you can get set up on there, how you make sure you've got the right the right settings, and how you can post stories, and some of a bit more of a guide on that, kind of go into a bit more detail than we have done today. I hope you found that useful. We'll be back again next time with another hopefully fascinating topic. Thank you very much to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.